Okay, we are being recorded just as a reminder to everyone, and I welcome you to the relationship call for Michigan Co-op, where this has been a great series. And Cindy, I'm glad that you and I kind of had that conversation a few months back and put this together, and I hope that we can continue these throughout, maybe even one or two this summer, but certainly throughout the next school year. And we're going to be talking about this at the Michigan Co-op meeting, summer conference in August. Those of you who have your screen up and are on the web, you'll see the information there. And we're meeting August 1st and 2nd at Treetops. We really do hope that as many people as possible can come. And if you are going to come, we encourage you to register online, where you see that register button. When you go to the website, Michigan Co-op, you'll see the heading under networking opportunities, and that's where you'll see the summer conference information. I also encourage you to get your motel rooms right away because they are going fast. And, you know, the resort is open to others as well, so they're going to have to release the rooms. If they haven't already, they're going to have to release those rooms. So please make your reservations as quickly as you can. So let me just kind of give you a quick overview of a few things this morning, and then tell you how, you know, I'll follow up after this to kind of get feedback. We're going to spend only 5 minutes for four of our presenters. Betsy and Susan are going to talk about, well, those aren't the first ones. Let me go in the order in which we're going to do it, sorry. Monica and Jen are going to be talking about the district catalogs. And the reason that we are looking at that is because it's becoming more and more important that everyone has one district catalog and that all of your offerings are in the same place. You may divide those out. You'll see what these two districts have done. There's no one way to do it, but you do need to have one district catalog with everything in there. So if you're running a partnership, for example, you don't want to just have a link on your website. You want to be part of the district catalog. Anything about this that I'm saying, you can, you know, email me or get in touch with me so that I can kind of clarify some of that. But Monica and Jen are going to give us some great examples of what theirs looks like. Then Betsy and Susan are going to talk to us a little bit about course development. And the reason that and again, those are just 5-minute presentations. And the reason that we're looking at that is that there's a lot of conversation around how districts are developing their own virtual courses, be it partnership or for their virtual schools. And we thought it would be nice for you guys to get a quick kind of overview of what some of the districts are doing so that you know that some of them are, you know, there's some of the courses are from scratch. Some of them are using vendors to kind of have a starting point and then adapting those to what they want to put together for their students. After that, Cindy's going to have a group of mentors on with us, and that will really kind of be a bigger bulk of our time because we want to talk, that's the relationship piece. And we know that our mentors are just critical to what we're doing virtually, so we really appreciate that opportunity to have some conversation with them. So after the webinars or after the mentors are done, we'll have Q&A, and that would be for anybody. So any question that you have, please write it down. You can put it in the chat. We can go back to that later as well. But make sure that, so at the very end is when we'll address all of our presenters with our Q&A. And then I'm going to get a quick survey out to all of you afterward today, because I want to know if you want to hear more about some of these things that I'm really going to limit people on their time, just because we wanted to squeeze it all into one this morning. So, you know, do you want to hear more about the course catalog, or we can do a whole nother webinar just on that? Do you want to hear more about course development? We can do that. We could also look at having those topics presented at the summer conference, although some of these are rather time sensitive, so we weren't sure. You know, if you wanted to run another webinar before we get together in August in Gaylord. The other thing I wanted to ask all of you, and I will again in the email, is, and I've been requesting this, to get vendors information, because some of you really do enjoy the opportunity to sit with the vendors and talk with them face to face. So we've got, I think, 7 or 8 coming right now. I encourage you to get some more names to me if there's people that you want to have there to meet in person. And then the other thing is I'm continually also getting ongoing questions about which vendors people are using in their districts. So that would be another potential webinar. And by a webinar, you know, it's kind of like a call, but you know, if there's something somebody wants to show, then we can have the webinar piece up. So we can actually see their desktop and they can show us something visually. But you know, if you want to have another webinar or call when people are sharing, and that would be a good webinar. They can share what they're using and then tell us why. That would be fantastic. So I'll get that out to you at the end. So in the meantime, Monica, if you're ready, Lisa can switch over to your desktop.
Okay, give me one moment. Bring up
Sure.
I was having a little hiccup here. Okay, here we go. Can you see my course catalog? Oh, it should be coming up here.
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't know how many are actually has the visual or has their desktop open and up. So we're really excited that we are merging our Go Lake Virtual School and Partnership catalogs together this year. The district website, let's see if I can switch over this. They've got some district news up here. They still have the catalogs listed separately, but you know, there is more centralized information when you pull up the district website, which is kind of nice. We haven't seen that out there in front of us like that until I think this year they're trying to make a better effort to put the information out there more accessible. So on our catalog, this is our PDF version. It's on the public side of our website. It lists our virtual courses. We've got our logo, and then we've got our innovative programs spectrum overview with the different pathways that students could choose. And we've got our legend icons that are within our catalog, the different types of application opportunities, whether it's 100% virtual, if there's an application opportunity, or a flex app. And I'll show you those quickly. We've got a platform, a legend for the various vendors that we use with explanation. Course description, explanation comes next. Just a brief table of contents that'll take you to each section. Then what we did was we listed our essential courses first by grade level. So first we've got the elementary essential courses listed. We start with ELA. This little computer icon here, if you look back on the legend, is 100% virtual. There is no application opportunity. Here you'll see the platform and whether it's first or second semester course, whether it's essential. Excuse me one moment. So this is where it all starts. And then we would skip to, the next section that's going to come up is our middle school section. If we have the applications, let me switch to a non-essential section. We'll jump to that. This is, like I said, in our public side. These are all essentials. Then we've got our non-essentials, starting with elementary. We've got our course title, Go Lake Partnership course versus GLV, which you might have seen earlier, which is Go Lake Virtual. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Is everybody hearing me okay?
We are.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. It's so silent here. Yep. Okay, so this indicates that there's an application opportunity. Now, they're not listed in our catalog. This catalog is 167 pages with just the virtual courses in it. So on our parent side of the website, they will have access to a searchable catalog. Sorry, let me pull this right screen up. Which is here. This is what the parents will see. And here's an example of an art class, 3D Art and Artists. This is a secondary. This is a Gull Lake Partnership Moodle course with an application opportunity, non-essential, the grade levels, full year. And then what the parents will see is this little icon here where they can open up a menu, and they will see all the application opportunities that they can select or choose from this searchable catalog. So when they register for courses, they'll select a virtual course, and then they get to select one of these 23 options, application options, underneath the virtual course. They can also search our catalog by category, whether it's core, here's math section, essential, search. This brings up all the essential courses, shows that it's 100% virtual, semester, whether it's Michigan Merit Credit, this is a Gull Lake virtual course, whether it's NCAA. And everything starts right here. This is our build module for our catalog. This is where we customize and create the whole catalog from here. When it's ready, we have everything in our catalog, our PDF version. We actually export it, create the PDF, and clean it up and post it on our website. And then, the parents see this side of it also. This is more, detailed with all the applications. It would be, I think, impossible to include the applications on the public side and maybe confusing, but our advisors, our counselors, our administrators of the various buildings would have access to all of this information that the parents have access to see what courses are available for students from, any of the buildings through the partnership or the Gull Lake Virtual School.
Monica, I'm going to have to stop you. This has been absolutely amazing. I'm just like overly impressed, not overly impressed, but the organization and the amount of information you're presenting is just incredible. So again, please everyone remember, if you're listening to the webinar or if you're on with us right now, we can do a follow-up on any of these topics we're covering this morning. We wanted to make sure everybody had an exposure, because when you see this, you might say, wow, I really want to dig deeper with these presenters, and we'll get that arranged for you. And we'll do it before the summer conference if you want us to. So Monica, thank you, a gazillion. That was great.
You're welcome.
Jen, could you please, are you ready for us to switch over to you?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Is it all set? You should be able to see the Alpena Public Schools website. Do you see it?
Did you get the, you have to click on yes to accept it?
I didn't get a yes, but I got a share. Share your screen, click share. I've shared and cancel.
I don't
Not
see
seeing it yet.
All I see is share and cancel. I see share your screen. A box came up that said that.
That's what I did, Jen. I'd hit share your screen, and then I think it was live.
It won't let me hit share for some reason. The box says share your screen. GoToMeeting wants to share the contents of your screen. Choose what you'd like to share. And I have your entire screen. And then at the bottom it says share or cancel, and only cancel is blue. It won't let me click share.
Okay, why don't you cancel that out, and maybe Lisa, could you try it one more time, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Oh. Okay, Jen, I just sent the request to you again.
Yeah, it's, oh, it worked that time. Thank you.
There we go.
Yay, we sound good.
Thank you. So you should see the alpenaschools.com website. Do you see that?
I do. Thank
Okay, so
you.
this is the website for our whole school district, and if you go to schools at the top, it has all of our schools that are listed, and APS Online is what we call like our normal online school that kids can take essentials or non-essentials, and then a couple below is our family partnership program. When you click on that, in the first opening paragraph, it gives you a link to go to our course catalog. So we have all of our online course catalogs in one spot. So when you click on online course catalog, it takes you to this very large document. And at the top of the document, we've listed our partnership online classes. So these are just our online portions. These are not our optional learning experiences. These are just the online portion of it. And that's the first 50 lines or so. And then if you scroll down, oh, it's still opening. Okay, if you scroll down, you see the start of what we would consider our normal online catalog. So the headings for this are the same for the whole catalog. So we have our course ID listed right on this catalog, and then of course the list of the class, the provider. So when it's the partnership ones, it says APS for Alpena Public Schools, and when you get down to the normal part of the catalog, it has the other vendors that we use for those. And then we have subject, non-essential, length we have if it's a year, semester, and then we added just recently a start and end date to show that our online content for our partnership opened the first day of school and is open until the last day of school, to show length. Grade level, type was non-essential, credit amount is 1 because we have 6 hours at our high school, so each of our partnership classes for the year are 1 credit. And then we added a column for hours. The reason for that is because we took the 1,098 and divided it by 6. And so we're showing that our content is 183 hours that we're offering. Now, when you scroll down to the normal part of our online catalog, they did not put the start and end date yet or the hours, but in our portion, we have that. And then because this document is so large, this is more just a management hint. You can embed quick links so that if you were looking for an arts class, you hover on arts and click on that link, and all it does is jump you later in the document so you don't have to scroll through the many hundreds. So that's more just for the districts, a little hint to do to make it more manageable. Now, as far as our optional learning experiences, we do not.
All right, now I thought you were one of the people from there, so sorry.
What's that? Oh, well, as far as the optional learning experience that that we offer, we do not list those online. So both with the school counselors and parents who are inquiring about our partnership classes, they contact us and then we send them the document. And this is an example of the document that has the class schedule on it, which lists the optional learning experience, and then all of the virtual-based learning options that are under that particular optional learning experience with the schedule. Now, we run a smaller program than like Go Lake, so this setup works better for a smaller partnership because we only run 2 days a week, so I only have to have the schedule for Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we have a separate document that has our class description on it for the Google Classroom portion. So that was a really quick review, but that is how Alpena Public School has set up our online catalog in one. And just in case people are interested on where in the Pupil Accounting Manual it's addressed, if you look at the opening part of 50D, that second statement here, it talks about courses from a local board-approved course catalog. So the assumption is it's 1. And if you go down to the question and answer, it's addressed in question 6. That talks about the courses being offered through the district course catalog. So in case you were wanting to reference that with your district to show why you need to have this on one catalog, those would be the places you could point to that. And that sums up mine. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.
Jen, thank you. Thank you very, very much. I want to point something out for all of everyone to consider, and that was putting in those start dates and end dates and the number of hours. And we know that your students are not required to be on that number of hours, but we know that the course you've developed, the expectation is that you're developing it with that kind of in mind, that it's a semester-long course, and all things considered, that would be X number of hours to get the proper amount of FTE. That's a really good addition to put that in there if you can, because there are lots of conversations going on right now about those, how much FTE to give a district for virtual classes, particularly in the partnership. Again, if you want to pursue this more, we will get that questionnaire out so that you can dig a little deeper into that. So next up on our agenda is Betsy. Betsy, are you going to want us to see your desktop, Betsy?
Yep, I have some things to show.
Okay, thank you.
All right, can you see it?
Okay, you're up and running. Thank you.
Okay, I just was thinking of what to really show you. I know one thing that Marcia and Cindy and I had talked about was courses. You could design an Odysseyware, and I don't have any of those live currently. I wanted to share a snippet of some slides I recently did for a full day PD in our district. Just, I guess that was last week. It's been a long couple of weeks. And it goes really well into what Jen and Marcia were just talking about in course design. So I'll just show these. We talked about different ways you can organize online courses. So these are some things that I've seen our teachers, including Susan, who will talk next. She's a really great star example of some online course design. But they don't have to be the same. So I've seen them designed weekly and by topic and by unit. I have examples of all of those within, I think this year we had 90 classes that our teachers completely authored in district from scratch in Moodle. And then some things that we expect them to put into class are things like welcome letters, contact info. I have found that just putting all of the information in a syllabus and including a PDF isn't really enough. People won't find the information there, and they won't really ask for it either. So just making it really obvious, posting it 2 or 3 different places so that it's easy for them to find. A pacing guide, kind of like Marcia was just talking about, so they know in an ideal situation what they should be doing when and about how long it should be taking. Feedback we got from our parents is not only how long should things be taking, but when will teachers be putting up new lessons, or at least kind of how often. We did an exercise where we looked through the top 10 most successful online classes in all of online classes. You can Google those and take a look at them. Most of them, all of them are free. And most of them will include, if you have to watch a video, it'll say right on the title, this video is 5 minutes and 42 seconds long. So that's really helpful. The most successful classes include that kind of information. And what was my last slide here? And to plan your lessons so that it's most flexible for the students learning, not just that it's most easiest for the teachers. Grading, to post things well in advance of the last week so that students can get done early if they want to. Never had a teacher complain that a student finished early. And then the example I had in Odysseyware was, this was a course I literally made this morning. And this is not a commercial for Odysseyware, because I think a lot of the kind of boxed vendors will have tools that will let you do this, and to teach you how to do this would be kind of a webinar in and of itself. But I use their tools and their curriculum to do this, to make a start of a course for Shakespeare, and it took me 10 minutes. I found a unit on Macbeth. It has, they're out of order, I'm sorry, I didn't get them fixed, but it has all the lessons for Macbeth. It has a unit on Romeo and Juliet, all the stuff for Romeo and Juliet. It has a unit on Hamlet. That's all I found in 10 minutes. And then I asked it to make me an assessment based on those units. It made a 32-question final exam. If you've made any, if you've ever made any online classes, you know that making quizzes and tests can be the most tedious thing. I did not make the questions in this final. I just told the software to make me a final, and it made me a 32-question final exam. And so I did all of that in less than 10 minutes this morning. So I know you can do this with Odysseyware. I know you can do this with the Edmentum products. And generally they're all different flavors of the same thing. So you can contact, you know, your vendors and see what they offer. You can let me know if you want to know more information about how maybe you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If people are asking you for classes and you think, oh, I don't want to, you know, fully write a whole course on that because we're so busy and we have so many things to do. The one caveat is, do make sure that the stuff you're using you can use. So if you do have, you know, a site license with Odysseyware, you can use it. But you know, I had a joke where I found a thing about plagiarism on Teachers Pay Teachers. Well, can I just take that off Teachers Pay Teachers and slap it into my Odysseyware English class? Some people say yes, that's my classroom, and some people say no, that's publishing copyrighted material. And ironically, it was a unit on plagiarism. So I had to check with that person I purchased it from, and they did say yes, but do make sure before you publish it online that you can do so. That's all I have.
Thank you, Betsy. That was fantastic. Boy, I mean, that's interesting to me that you could put something that together that quickly. That's obviously shows, you know, that you've been doing this, but it also shows how quickly you can use good software and help create it. So thank you. That's excellent. Next, Susan, I don't think we're going to your desktop. Is that correct? You're just gonna chat with us?
Yeah, I'm just going to chat. Can you hear me okay?
We can. It's all yours. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So I think I know most of you, but I've been with Gull Lake Partnership since they started, and now I work with Northern Michigan Partnership in Traverse City too. And so I create Moodle content for both of the partnerships that I work for. The difference is I only create virtual content for Gull Lake Partnership, and at Northern Michigan Partnership, I create Moodle content, but I also work in the classroom. So I tie my Moodle content for Northern Michigan Partnership a little bit more into the classes that I teach. So I've got my feet in two different Moodle pools. So I just put together kind of a little spiel on how I create my classes. So I'm just going to read from that. I'm going to have to sign off after I finish talking. So if anybody does have questions for me, they're free to email me. And you're welcome to provide my email address, Marcia. So the expectations for the content that I create are different for the two partnerships, but for both, the most important thing is consistency in the way that the information is presented. And I've created an outline that I follow for both of them. I try to find topics that I feel will be of interest to the student and are most relevant to the subject. And then within each topic, I might explore one or two important points. And I try hard not to overwhelm students with too much information. So every Moodle unit follows a similar format, and I post a new unit every week on the same day. First, I begin with the topic that I try to present in a clear, concise manner, usually accompanied by written content, visuals, or a few videos. I often pose questions for the students to think about as they read the information or view the videos. I try to find videos that relate to the topic and ones that are less than 5 minutes in length. By including written content as well as videos and images, I hope to reach all the different types of learning styles. Second, every unit has an assessment, either an auto-graded quiz with no more than 5 to 10 questions or a few reflection questions. If the class is large, I rely heavily on quizzes just because reading 75 reflection questions takes a long time. Lastly, I include optional activities like more videos, reading, or art projects that students can do if they want to take a topic further. I also encourage students to submit pictures of projects that they have created and offer incentive of earning a Moodle badge, which are kind of like electronic stickers. I also create student art galleries in each unit to showcase the work of students who submit samples of their work. The hardest and most time-consuming part of content creation is doing the research, because I create everything from scratch, although I may start to explore more open educational resources in the future. I spend quite a bit of time mapping the units for the different classes before I even put anything up on Moodle. The classes that I create are unique to my area of expertise and what I feel students should know based on the grade level I'm instructing. I try to make the content age appropriate, but when creating a class that spans the K-5 age range, it can be challenging. I spend a great deal of time researching things on the internet and looking at books for ideas. I use YouTube to find videos and also go to many sites that offer open educational resources. My advice to anyone who creates content for virtual classes is this: include an introduction to each unit that tells the student what they will learn in that unit and what the expectations for completion are. Provide a variety of learning opportunities through written content, videos, and images, but keep it simple. Students do not want to read paragraphs and paragraphs of copy, so use bullet points when you can. If you include videos, try to keep them short, and do let students know how long the videos are before they open them. I have found that students do not enjoy watching long videos. Instead, offer a few short ones and maybe give them a selection, like watch 3 of the 5 videos. You know, don't make them watch all of them. Some of them like to watch them all, but give them options. Make sure the information you put up makes a point and teaches them something. Don't just put up busy work. I have heard a lot of parents complain about Moodle content and how they feel it's just busy work. You're a teacher. Make sure you're making a point. You're teaching the students something, not just giving them something to do to fill time. Offer optional activities to extend their learning. You never know what will spark their interest, so be sure to give them a few choices. So that's my advice. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Susan. I was on mute. Sorry. I was talking and I realized I was on mute. Thank you. That's great. And a lot of that is very kind of practical advice. I really enjoy and appreciate your addressing the, kind of what the student's response and reaction is. So I appreciate that. And, you in the beginning said you would provide your email and that I could provide it to others. So I will include that when I send out the email to the entire Michigan Co-op. Thank you. Have a great one. Thanks for being on with us.
Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Cindy, are you on? Maybe you're muted, Cindy. Are you still with us?
Hello. Yeah, I'm
going to
here.
let you take over. Okay. I'm gonna let you take over, Cindy. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. And we all knew from the beginning that we were headed towards an endeavor in mentoring that had to do with relationships. I think that what's happened by talking to a lot of people is that every year we discover how more and more important the relationship piece is. So I of course am not a mentor, and I have asked some of our really good mentors that we have a partnership to come on and talk about what they do in mentoring. And what I noticed is I found this out when we were doing our reviews, and I was so impressed with what I heard from the mentors. And I was impressed that they each have their little different way of doing things, but they're all reaching for the same goal. And that was really impressive because not everybody's doing it the same. They've all got some little hints. So I think that if each one of my mentors that are online now could go one by one and talk about some of the things that maybe we've talked about before that are kind of some highlights of your mentoring experience, that each of those little pieces will probably ring true with people, or also could be hints of something that somebody else might want to pick up on. So if we can start, maybe we'll start with the Blakeleys, either Bill or Gretchen start, and if everybody can be kind of concise in what they say so that everybody has a chance to talk, that would be great. So will Bill or Gretchen please start us off?
Yeah, hi, this is Gretchen. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're just basically asking us what we do to build relationships with our mentees. Is that correct?
Yes. Please do that.
Okay, a couple of the things that I've done with my mentees this was my first year being a mentor, and so I would send, like the first month I was just sending out different, my weekly email. And I thought, what, I want to start like engaging them more, or I felt like it was just information in my questions. So one thing I did that I thought, I wanted to do something unique every week. And so I started I started off each email giving them the national day. And every single day of the year is some kind of unique national day. So I gave them the national day and a little history about that. And I had a lot of comments back. And a couple of times I didn't do it. And I had my mentees comment, hey, where's our national day? They were disappointed that I didn't put it on that week. So that's one of the things I did. Another thing I think is important is sharing information about me and some of the different, so they find out, I'm not only trying to learn about them, but they find out, different things about what I enjoy or whatever. So so then we developed a relationship, they understood me, they knew more about me, I knew more about them. So I think that's important too in developing relationships. You want to go on?
Thanks, Gretchen. And I'll just throw in there that Bill and Gretchen are usually out of town, and they're in town now, and I believe you're having dinner with some of your mentee families tomorrow, correct?
We are. We're meeting some of the families at the open house, and then some other ones that couldn't make it. We are meeting them either at their house or for dinner or at a baseball game. We're doing all of the above, which will be fun. So I'm excited to meet them.
So Bill, do you want to go next?
Sure. Gretchen basically stole my thunder, but we, I've been a mentor for 3 years, and I think that as each year has gone on, you try to build that relationship piece, or it is just a generic, communication back and forth. So this year I actually started to include pictures of, like what I had done that week of my family, like my son graduated from college, so I sent a picture of that. Just so they realize that I'm an actual person and not just somebody behind the screen. And as a result, one time I sent a picture of my cat, and I said, hey, feel free to send a picture of your animal. And it was really funny, the amount of interaction that you can get just about their pets, and the fact that they can engage with you in a different way than just saying, hey, how are your classes going? And so that's what I tried to do this year, and I think that it was fairly effective.
Thanks, Bill. Cindy, who do you have next?
Cindy, are you still there? Maybe something came up. What? Hello. Is there another mentor who would like to pick up at this point? I want to thank the Blakeleys. First of all, Cindy shared a lot with me about the two of you, and And I know that you don't live in Michigan, so I just think it's awesome, the relationship that you have built and how you're doing it. And I believe very strongly in what you're saying about sharing about yourself, because I know when I did my online master's, that made a huge difference when the professor reached out and shared who they were. I mean, it's just like, oh yeah, you like you're saying, Bill, yeah, you guys are human. You're not just a robot sitting on the other end. So I love those ideas. I think it's very impactful. And I love that you guys are in Michigan and you're going to be meeting with people. That is just amazingly heartwarming to know that you're, you know, really extending yourself to that extent. And I know, like you said, Susan, you guys are just going to have fun. Sounds like a great way to.
Am I back on? Am I back on now?
Yes, you are,
sorry.
Cindy.
Okay, I'm saying, Christy Carlton, would you like to go next?
Oh, Kathy's all ready to go.
Hi,
Oh, okay,
Kathy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Kathy Van Dusen here. A couple thoughts come to mind of what I have been happy with mentors. First off, I love being a mentor, and the bane of that project or that job is getting responses in a timely fashion, like within the 7 days. And I have a family with 8 children, and it's quite a chore for that mom to get the responses in from all of her kids. They range anywhere from kindergarten up to junior in high school. And we've tried all sorts of avenues to get their responses in timely. And one option that seemed to work better than many others that we've tried is to, when I send out the letter, I list all the children's names at the end of the letter, so all the mom has to do is add a sentence or a reply to that son or daughter, and then send them all off to me. I came up with that idea after the spring count day, so I don't know what I'm going to do with count day when responses have to be singular, independent, but I'll figure something out. And another thing which appealed to many people to get responses in was when I sent out the response back, I would embellish a little golden star and make it huge, and just, well, not too huge, but I would just say, thank you for your response. Here's your golden star for the week. So, and I get a lot of comments on the joy of that. I mainly work with elementary children, so that appeases them. Okay?
Thanks, Kathy. So, okay, I know you guys are all together. Who wants to go next, Christy or Steve?
Steve's up.
I'll go.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is Steve Howland. I do primarily, exclusively dual enrolled kids. So sometimes I have a little bit of a delicate balance because I know, at least from my own personal experience, when my kids were going through dual enrollment, the mentorship was sometimes more of a pain than anything else. So I'm sensitive to that some kids are busy and this is just a kind of a task for them. But similar to what Gretchen does, this year I chose to put cool jobs at the bottom of all my emails. So I would search the internet every Wednesday morning and look for some kind of unique or cool job. And I did actually get some comments back that they liked looking at those. And then I try to use humor as much as possible. I quickly learn, which one of my kids are humorless and plan accordingly. And then I also, usually in my responses to them, I actually do like reading what they write to me. And then in my responses is when I'll usually try to connect something personal. with whatever they said, or the fact that my kids went through dual enrollment. Sometimes I can make a connection that way. So that's pretty much it for me.
Thanks, Steve. Christy?
I try to, since I work in the office, I'm kind of privy to a little bit more information. I always try to put a what's happening down kind of underneath my main informational email, what's coming up as far as dates or information that's coming out. I always try to put a link to the online catalog or calendar, I mean, or maybe some forms that are going to be coming up, you know, the school of choice dates, field trips. I always try to put a link to that. I know a lot of students either don't know about the field trip program, or they still can always participate with it, even though they may not be signed up for it. Sometimes Sue Amos will let me know about some low attending field trips, so I try to always help out and boost up numbers on some of her field trips when she lets me know that there's some field trips that are in jeopardy of getting canceled, possibly. So I try to maybe put a little note in my initial email about that. On my reply backs, when you have family of 4 or more, or even 2 or more, I always try to make my reply back different than, Donnie's, different than, Betsy's, or, I try not to keep the same reply back the same, so everybody's getting a different reply back. So
thanks, Christy. Thank you, Christy. Did I miss anybody? I think I'm done with all the mentors. Are there any mentors online that I forgot?
I'm still here. It's Betsy.
Oh, Betsy, yes. You wear many hats. Okay, Betsy, go ahead. I forget all your hats. Okay, go ahead.
I was trying to find my spreadsheet. I was going to see if maybe I could share my screen again, but I haven't dug it up yet. I use Google Sheets, and I use Formule so that I can quickly make an individual email to all of my mentees. I mentor for both the virtual school full-time students and the partnership part-time students. So for my full-time students especially, I try to send progress specific to each of their classes every week. Either their current grade, or the last time they submitted an assignment, or the percentage completion, or something like that. So I use a spreadsheet where it has every student and their email address and their parents' email address and their schedule, and then a column for me to put their progress, and then a column for me to write a personal message, and then a column for me to make notes on their reply. And then there's an add-on for Google Sheets called Form Mule, M-U-L-E, like the donkey, and it will put all of that spreadsheet into individual emails for you very quickly. That's a real time saver. It doesn't make pretty emails, not easily anyway, but it's quick. So that's super helpful. I can say also the person that helps assign the mentees. I think one thing we've learned is if a relationship, since this is about relationship building, if a relationship's not working out, it's better to find somewhere where it will work out rather than toughing it out for the whole year. Just switch it up and find a new mentor. Find a tactful way to say, hey, that mentor is really swamped right now. We're going to move you over to a new staff member that has a lighter load. Thank you for your flexibility, and see if that relationship works out. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3. I joke that we had one family that rotated through about 4 mentors before they really hit their groove with a certain teacher, and then they were like BFFs for the next 4 years. So some certain personalities just don't fit, and it's to nobody's benefit to try to force it if it's not a good fit. A lot of times Anita helps me by giving me some background information so that I can find a good fit. A lot of times looking at their application schedule is a good clue as to who might be a good fit. So those are really helpful things.
Thanks, Betsy. So it looks like we're ending at a good time. Thank you to all the mentors who took their time out today to come. And I think that, you know, I remember, Marshall, once you didn't want to call a mentoring call because it really is so much more than just a two-way contact. And I think all of these people have shown that in their comments. So thank you, everybody. Marcia, probably want to do some wrap up.
Yeah, Cindy, thank you very much. We could go a couple more minutes if people have any questions, either for the mentors or the other presenters about the course catalogs or course development. Does anyone have a question they'd like to ask of anyone? Lisa, did you happen to see anything in the chat? Because I forgot to check that one.
Oh,
I don't
there's
see
nothing
anything
in there.
I guess. Okay. This has been absolutely outstanding, and it's been kind of like the speed dating thing. We've gone through this really quickly, but I'm getting some good feedback from some of you who are on with us, so I really, really appreciate that. I will get out a link to the recorded version along with the questions for you to respond to, and I would encourage all of you to please consider joining us at the Michigan Co-op Summer Conference on August 1st and 2nd. At Treetops and the Blakeleys. It doesn't sound like you're going to maybe be up here that long, but you're always welcome to come if you are in Michigan. So thank you all. This has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Cindy, for doing all the arranging of all your wonderful mentors being on with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcia.
Sure.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.